Well, good morning to you all. I was going to be very British and mention the weather because it's so cool in the house that I've even got this jacket on once again. It's midsummer. Can't believe it, can we? Well, I hope the verse that we've got today will warm you in some way. It's chapter 3 of Ephesians and verse 12. And I think what we've got here is one of the most amazing verses in the Bible. That's my opinion. I don't have a top 10 list, but it's one of my favorites because of what it says, the way it says it. It tells you, I think, more clearly than virtually anything, the power and the wonder of the Christian faith. And here it is, chapter 3, verse 12. It simply says that in him, that's Jesus it's talking about, in him we have, in him and through faith in him, we may approach God with freedom and confidence. That's the way that it's written here. Now, it tells us that we have the basic right to approach God, and that's the wonder of the good news, that in Jesus and through faith in him, we are accepted and able to draw near to God. It's not the first time Paul's mentioned it. We met it in chapter 2, verse 18, where it talks about having access to him. It's the same word, actually. They've just translated it differently, access and approach. But it's the way that it puts it here that I think makes it so wonderful, because it talks about freedom and confidence. That's the way we approach God. Both words, actually, that they've translated suggest confidence, and translators often try to make a differentiation between them because of that. The first word suggests freedom because that's the idea is that we're not restricted. We're allowed to approach. Sometimes we think, well, that means, well, we can approach God any time. But the original Greek meant freedom in speech. And so carries the idea of plain speaking or not being afraid to say what you want. The absence of fear in speaking to somebody, hence confidence. So it's all to do with confidence about speaking plainly with God. Now, if you think about human relationships, you don't get that very often. Sometimes you may have a friend who respects you and you love each other, and you're able to say what you feel and what you want. And you can open your soul, and they're not going to be put off by that. But friendships like that are quite rare. More often than not, we feel we have to be guarded in some way. We have to hold back. Maybe it's a fear within us, that can apply. Maybe it's a fear of offending somebody. Or sometimes it's a deference towards an authority figure. We don't feel we should say that to these people. Sometimes it's just the knowledge that if we say what we feel, we'll make enemies. Also, all those complications in human relationships are there. But actually, when Paul says we come to God, the relationship we have with God is that we can speak with him openly and without fear. Because faith in Jesus opens a door. Not just a door to heaven in the future, but actually a door to God now. And not just an open door to him, he himself is open to us. So you can talk to him openly and boldly, and he will listen, whatever you say and however you say it. You don't have to hold back. You don't have to fill your sentence with religious fluff in order to impress him and to butter him up a bit. Now, I know that God is holy and glorious, magnificent, great beyond our imagination. He's not some best mate that you have this sort of backslapping jollity kind of relationship with. I know that. But the way that Paul puts it here tells us that as he is your heavenly Father and he loves you and cares for you, you can approach him and speak with boldness and clarity and without fear. You can approach freely and confidently. And he won't shut you off because you've been, I don't know, shouting at him. He won't be put off because you've been too blunt. He will accept you and listen to you. That's a wonderful thing to realize, isn't it? Sometimes people just don't listen, but he will, and he will answer. And I think that's what makes this just a wonderful verse. In Jesus, we are lifted right up to God and welcomed, and we go right into the holy place, and we can really say just what we feel. That's a great thing. That's the gospel. That's the acceptance we have in Jesus. Well, if you want to know more about that, if you want to know about that sort of prayer, well, contact me and I can try and help you. But just take it to heart that in in Jesus, and through faith in him, we have the right to approach God freely and boldly and confidently. And why not make use of it today? Okay, hope you're able to do that, and we'll see you tomorrow.